So today's bell ringer, we're going to continue talking about day one. So last time we talked about the addition and subtraction of different signs. Okay, question number 1 to 4. But we have not yet talked about multiplication and absolute sign. So day one. Let me do this. So day one, when you multiply and divide, what do you do? Okay, let me ask in another way. Number 5, what's the answer, Layden? In day one. 7 times -6. Okay, so if you just have 7 times 6 is 42, right? But what happened to the negative sign? So it turns the whole answer into negative. Remember, if you have an even number, okay, this is what you need to write down. Even number of negative, answer is positive. If you have all number of negative, then answer is negative. When you have multiplication and division, okay, multiplication and division, even number of negative sign give you a positive answer, and odd number of negative sign give you a negative answer. So question number 5, 7 times -6. Do we have even number of negative sign or odd number of negative sign? So Naya, do we have even number of negative sign or positive number of negative sign? Somebody open the door, please. How many negative sign we have here?
2.
In the question, not the answer. 1. So our answer is negative or positive? So our answer is negative or positive? Thank you.
Negative.
That's right. One negative sign give you an odd number of negative signs, so our answer is negative. So question number 6. Question number 6, you have -3 times -12. Okay? Whenever you don't have a sign there means multiply. So, first of all, Fabian, this question, number 6, the answer should be positive or negative? Very good. Why is positive, Gianni? Why the answer is positive? Bria? Very good. 2 negative is positive, right? Give you a positive answer, which is 3 times 12, 36. Number 7, -45, divide -3. That's on the bell ringer. So, Isaiah, -45 divided by -3. The answer should be a positive or negative?
Positive.
Very good, because we have 2 negative signs, right? So 45 divided by 3 is 15. Very good. Okay, number 8, -56 divided by 7. So -56 divided by 7, Kaylee, it should be a positive or negative? Very good, because we will have 1 negative sign. So 56 divided by 7 is 8, -8. All right, so that is your multiplication and division. Everybody clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. So the last part of day 1 is about absolute sign, right? So can I ask you a question? What does absolute sign mean? Lennon?
Negative. Absolute value.
Well, absolute sign give you absolute value, and it's positive or negative number. Very good. So it's always positive, right? So number 9, negative 11 inside the absolute sign. Isaiah, what's the answer should be? So absolute sign always give you a positive number. So negative 11 become a very good 11. So it's 11. Very good. And the next question, 18. So if it's 18 inside the absolute sign, Layden, what's the answer? 18. Very good. If it's positive inside, it's still positive, right? Number 11, it's a calculation now. So negative 17 minus negative 24. All right, so we cannot do the calculation right away. We have to get rid of the absolute sign, or we can deal with the absolute sign first. So, Rose, negative 17 inside the absolute sign become what? 17, just a positive number, right? So 17. So subtract, keep the subtract, and then negative 24 inside the absolute sign become, Fabian, what? Negative 24 inside the absolute sign become what? Positive 24. Okay? So when after you get rid of the absolute sign, you got those positive number. So now we have 17 minus 24. So 17 minus 24 is what? Janila? 17 minus 24 is what? Very good. It's negative 7. Okay, the last question in day 1, 9 minus 14, absolute sign. So, what do we do? What do we do first? Well, we don't have the absolute sign within each number. So, we just do the calculation inside the sign first, okay? 9 minus 14 is what?
5.
What 5? Negative 5. Okay? So negative 5 inside the absolute sign. You see that? But negative 5 inside the absolute sign, if you get rid of the absolute sign, it becomes what? Positive 5. Very good. Very good. So in day 2, we're looking at the fraction. Question number 1. You write improper fraction. So what we have is 5 and 3 over 7. How do you write improper fraction? Yes, Skylar?
Improper is when the bigger number is on the numerator and the smaller number is on the denominator. That's what an improper fraction is.
So what you actually need to do is you multiply the whole number. The whole number means you have 7 over 7, and then you have 5 times of that. Okay? So all you have to do is 5 times 7, and then you add the top number. So 5 times 7 is what?
35.
Plus 3. So it's 38 on top over 7. Okay? Question number 2. You have negative 9 over 4. You have to write a mixed number. How do you do that? You use the top number. You want to see how many whole 9 can be divided by 4. So basically, you're doing a long division. How do you do division? 9 divided by 4, right? So if you have 9 divided by 4, what is your whole number on top? 2, very good. So 2 times 4 is 8. So you subtract 8 from 9. Your remainder is 1. Then how do you write that? Your mixed number is 2, which is the whole number answer, and remainder 1 over 4, negative. Okay? So keep in mind, this is the whole number, and then this is the remainder. All right, the last part is write different format of fraction. So basically, fraction can be written as decimal and percentage. Percentage and decimal are very similar. So percentage and decimal is very similar. Let me show you. Okay, if you have 0.01 decimal, percentage, you just have to multiply 100. Okay, decimal multiply 100 give you percentage. So if you have 0.01 and you want to change that into decimal, change that into percentage, what is that? You just have to multiply 100 to your decimal, it will give you the percentage. So 0.01 times 100, you move your decimal 2 times to the right. So it'd be 1%. 1%. Vice versa, if I give you 100%, okay? So you have percentage, and then you want to get to decimal, what do you have to do? You got to divide by 100, and it will give you a decimal. So 100% divided by 100 is what? 1. So 100 divided by 100 is 1. So 100% is 1. Okay? But how do you change the fraction into decimal? That is the difficult part. Let's take a look at number 1. So number 1, fraction is 16 over 25, right? How do you change into decimal? You can do 2 ways. One, you can do 16 divided by 25 as a long division. Or you can change the denominator into 100. How do you change the denominator into 100? 25 multiply what is 100? 4. Okay, it's 4. 25 times 4 is 100. So that means if you want to change denominator into 100, you got to multiply 4 at the bottom. So if you multiply 4 at the bottom, what do you have to do on top, Jerome? Yes, what do you have to do on the top? Multiply what? Very good. You're going to multiply by 4. So the bottom become 100, right? And the top becomes 64. So 64 divided by 100 basically is 64. You move the decimal twice. You see 100 has a 20, right? So you move the decimal twice to the front. So it's actually 0.64. So that's how you get decimal from a fraction. So the first part of number 3, the decimal is 0.64. But when you want to write it into percentage, how much percent is 0.64? Skylar? 64%, because if you want to change a percentage, you're going to multiply 100% and give you 64%. Rose, you got that? Okay, very good. So, what's the second part, okay, of number 3? So we have 0.3%, right? How you change percent to decimal? I already told you before. Did you write it down how you change decimal to, percentage to decimal? Do you multiply 100 or divide by 100? Divide by 100. So 3 divided by 100 is 0.03. So that's decimal. So how do you change it into fraction? Very straightforward. If you have 2 decimal places, that means the 3 is on the 100th. That means it's the 3 over 100. You see that? You see 2 decimal places, that means the bottom have 2 zeros. So it's 3 over 100. If you can simplify after you get that, simplify. If you cannot, don't worry about it. Okay? For example, if I get an answer like 4 out of 100, you can actually simplify it by dividing 4 and dividing 4 on both sides. So 4 divided by 4 is 1, 100 divided by 4 is 25. So this is the case that you can simplify, but on the bell ringer, 3 over 100, you cannot simplify. You see that? Okay, next question. Negative 0.1 dash. What does that dash mean? It's a repeating number, that's right. So that repeating number, if you write it into percent, how much percentage is that?
10 over 100. Wouldn't it be 10 over 100 because it's in like the tens place? The one's in tens place.
Well, it could be 10 over 100 or it's 1 over 10, right? But it's not really 1 over 10. Oh, shoot. It's not really 1 over 10. Well, I'm talking about percentage though. So if you divide it, or if you multiply it, it's negative 11.1 ultimate, like repeat percent. Okay, because it's really 1111, right? So it's 11.1 repeat percent. But if you change that into a decimal, it's 1 over 9. Okay. Right, next one. What? Yeah, sorry. Change that into fraction is negative 1 over 9. It's all like twisted in my head. So the last question is, you're giving a fraction, you write a decimal percentage. So 1 and 11 over 12. What you're going to do is, when you change that into fraction, 1 is still 1. You just need to find a decimal out of 11 over 12. So 11 over 12, it's hard to convert to 100. So we're going to do the long division. 11 divided by 12, 0.0. So you got a 9. 2 times 9 is 8. And this become a 1, 10. Subtract, you got 2. And there's an invisible 0. You drag it down. So 20 divided by 12 is 1. And then 12. And then 80 divided by 12. 6. then it's 72, and then that's 80 again. So it's 6 repeat. Okay, so 6 is repeat. So what you're gonna get when you change that into decimal is 1.916 repeat. Then when you change that into percentage, multiply 100, you get 191.6 repeat percent. Okay. Well, it is confusing when you have a repeat there, but if you have a repeat, just keep the repeat there. Okay.